Monarchies have existed for centuries, and over the years, monarchs' rules have resulted in historic changes, shocking stories, and interesting bits of history. Here are some fascinating things you didn't know about medieval female monarchs. Queen Supayalat of Burma. Queen Supayalat was the last queen of Burma who reigned in Mandalay between 1878 to 1885. She is portrayed as both evil and caring in her leadership. She is best known for arrange the slaughter of 80 to 100 members of the royal family to ensure the throne to her husband. Nevertheless, she always denied involvement in the plot. Catherine de' Medici. When Catherine de' Medici was Queen of France, she kept a flying squad of 80 women tasked with sleeping with powerful men to extract their secrets. Queen Mary of Scots. Queen Mary of Scots used to wash her face with wine. According to sources, she bathed in it too. She believed it helped her to retain her alabaster complexion. In the 16th century, it was fashionable for those who could afford it to bathe in white wine. Queen Victoria. Queen was the first to wear white on her wedding day. When Queen Victoria married Prince Albert in 1840, it was common for brides to walk down the aisle in colorful wedding dresses. Wishing to highlight the lace embroidery of her dress, the Queen requested her gown in white. She also requested that her wedding guests did not wear white to her weddings so they wouldn't draw attention away from her. Nearly 180 years after her famous change, many brides are still getting married in white gowns. Queen Ranavalona I. Ranavalona was the 19th century ruler of the Kingdom of Madagascar. In 1838, it was estimated that Queen Ranavalona I had allowed nearly a fifth of her kingdom to die under the Tangina ordeal, named after a poisonous nut that causes a person to vomit after eating it. This trial was used in particular against people suspected of disloyalty and involved the accused eating 3 pieces of chicken skin, followed by the Tangina nut. It has been estimated that by the end of Queen Ranavalona's rule, the population of her kingdom had been reduced from 5 million to about 2.5 million people. Queen Elizabeth I. Queen Elizabeth I wore a thick coating of white makeup that contained lead. In 1562, Queen Elizabeth contracted a minor case of smallpox. Consequently, it left her with visible facial scars. To maintain her porcelain-skinned appearance, the Queen wore thick white makeup, which contained trace amounts of white lead and vinegar. Although the makeup probably helped maintain Queen Elizabeth's illusion of elegance, it was considered poisonous, according to Elizabethan-era UK. Princess Alexandra Amalia. Princess Alexandra Amalia of Bavaria was, by all accounts, a lovely and charming woman who had the slight defect of being convinced she had swallowed an all-glass piano. She was also obsessed with cleanliness and wore only white. Anna of Russia. Anna ruled as Empress of Russia from 1730 to 1740. In the most famous example of her insanity, she set up an old prince with her maid, organized the wedding, and had a special palace made of ice for the ceremony. She made the wedding party dress like clowns and spend the night in the ice palace during one of the harshest winters Russia had seen in years. Queen Anne. Queen Anne, 18th-century monarch who ruled Britain from 1702 to 1714. She faced tragic pregnancies. While Queen Anne was successfully married, she was unable to birth an heir. Throughout her reign, she went through 17 pregnancies, 7 of which miscarried, 5 stillborn, and the rest died at an early age, the oldest at 11. Catherine the Great. Catherine overthrew her husband. Catherine the Great, also known as Catherine II, was an empress of Russia between 1762 and 1796. Her husband Peter III assumed the throne on January 5, 1762, and was immediately unpopular. He enraged the Russian military leaders by pulling out of the 7 Years' War and making big concessions to Russia's adversaries in the process. Eventually Catherine believed that Peter was going to divorce her, so she worked with her lover and other allies to overthrow him and take the throne for herself. In July 1762, just 6 months after he took the throne, Peter III was deposed in a coup d'état. 8 days later, he was killed while in the custody of one of Catherine's co-conspirators, Elizabeth II. Before she became Queen Elizabeth of United Kingdom, Princess Elizabeth volunteered as a truck driver and mechanic during World War II. This made her the first female member of the royal family to serve in the military.